Hi, my name is ZaKaiRan, and welcome to another one of my outrageously amazing, insanely enlightening master keys of creation about how to be the unlimited source master of divine creation that you truly are to create the joy, love, well-being, and abundance that you desire. You'll find tons of more self-empowering goodies to help you become a conscious, deliberate creator on my website at ZaKaiRan.com. So here we go. Everyone is androgynous, or infinite diversity inspires infinite expansion. Regardless of your gender and genitals and how you identify yourself as male, female, gay, non-binary, lesbian, metrosexual, pansexual, multi-species sexual, which is my personal favorite because I love blue skin, purple skin, and green skin ladies. Whatever and however you identify yourself as a human or non-human, who and what you truly are as source, which is the real core of your being, is both male and female, and neither. Or as the current PC terminology people are using, everyone is non-binary. Or to use old school Latin terminology and Greek terminology, everyone is androgynous. And we have all had lifetimes of male and female lifetimes where we were in male bodies and female bodies, and some more masculine, some more feminine, some less masculine, some less feminine. We've all been fathers and mothers and sisters and brothers, and essentially we're all basically cousins, or as I'm fond of saying, we're all one big incestuous family. And this new millennium's enlightened awareness and the questioning of classical genders, gender rules, sexual identity, and sexual attraction is showcasing the truth of our true spiritual source being, that as souls, we are essentially genderless. And showcasing the fact that we are all so very much unique in our desires, biases, and interests that we desire to experience through the many possibilities of bodies and genders and genitalia, etc. In other words, there is no right way to be, believe, experience, have sex, etc., contrary to what the religions and people believe. There is no right way or official divine rule book on the proper divine way to think, look, or believe. Or to fuck, to put it plainly. There is no right way to love. And there is no such thing as virtuousness and sexual morality. So there's no proper moral or divine way to get jiggy. We've all done it 1,000 ways with 1,000 different people and genders. We've been straight and gay and bi and everything in between. And thank God for all of the diversity, because none of us came here to look and act or think or believe like anyone else. We came here to delight in the diversity of love and bodies and desires and looks and genders and sex and beliefs and cultures and love, etc., for the fun of it, for the absolute adventure of it. And the diversity that exists is an absolute jewel, because it gives us all an unlimited amount of ways to experience life, which inspires an unlimited amount of desires that we want to create in our lives, which inspires an unlimited amount of experiences that we can experience, etc., which basically creates infinity and constant expansion and evolution. Because infinite contrast inspires infinite desire. And that infinite desire is always for ever expanding improvement, because we are all infinite joy beings. So we will always want an infinite supply of never ending joy and fun and adventure and excitement. And we will always want a never ending supply of fun adventures and diversity of bodies and beliefs and personalities and desires, etc., which ensures a never ending supply of people to have fun adventures with. Because the purpose of life is joy, not some sort of bastardized version of unity whereby we all think alike and believe in the same rules and we all look the same like we're some sort of cloned androids or something. There are no official and or divine rules. Rules are created by humans. They are not created by divine beings. The religion's totally fucked up on that one. Royally. There's no judgy, Judgerton style of God making rules and commandments for us to follow to assuage his insecurities and keeping him happy because we're following his rules. There is no such thing as an outside authority type of God that is somehow separate from us and judges us, and we've got to somehow aspire to become. We are all gods and goddesses, regardless of what we look like, regardless of what we're attracted to, who we're attracted to, etc. We're all individually and uniquely have the complete freedom as those gods and goddesses and emperor gods to decide what is right for us, but not for anyone else in the entire universe. This is not a universe of assertion where anyone is the god of anyone else and therefore can decide what is best for them. So, bad news for all of the clergy, the politicians, corporations, the aristocracy, the legislators, the police, and dare I say, even parents, because not one person has any divine right to decide what's best for anyone else, not even children, not animals, not anybody, because every soul, no matter how young their body is an all-powerful divine source spirit with the complete freedom and control of creation to decide what's best for them based on how they're thinking and attracting whatever they want. And that includes how much candy that they can eat or want to eat. So not only does no person or soul or supposed God have any right to tell anyone what to do, how to think, what to believe, and no other person or ET or spirit or alleged God has any control over anyone. It's actually impossible to control another person because there is no some sort of universal law of assertion that states that whatever has the most power can control others. There's only a law of attraction that states you attract more of whatever you are focused upon, because we are all source beings. There is nothing and no one that is somehow separate from anyone else. That means some people are somehow more powerful than others. That is just a lie. That is bullshit. That's just something that humans dreamt up because they felt unworthy and lesser than God, the idea of God that they created in their heads. Anyway, everyone attracts more of whatever they are thinking about and therefore vibrating. Because whatever you think about makes you vibrate, which attracts whatever you're vibrating based on what you're thinking to you. That's the only commandment in the universe. That's the only real divine law that you really need to pay any attention to in the universe. The rest takes care of itself. And the law of attraction makes all of the other so-called commandments totally meaningless, because the law of attraction clarifies the fact that there is no such thing as a victim or a judge, and the, quote, murdered attracted the, quote, murderer, and the, quote, abuser attracted the, quote, abused, and the quote, raped attracted the, quote, rapist. And the stolen from attracted the thief. And in a more positive way to describe it, the lover attracted the love. The joy attracted joyful people and joyful experiences. The abundance mindset attracted the abundance experiences. And contrastingly, the lack-oriented mindset attracted poverty. What trips people up about believing that the law of attraction is legit is they can't imagine how they could attract such crappy, unwanted things in their lives, especially since they weren't thinking, as an example, car wreck. No, they weren't thinking car wreck, but they were thinking about other things previously to the car wreck that has the same vibration. In other words, how they feel now after having the car wreck is the same way they have been feeling based on how they've been thinking and therefore vibrating, which attracted the car wreck. The key is, how do you feel after the experience? In this case, how do you feel after the car wreck? Are you angry with yourself for not paying attention and being careful and being too aggro and being rushed, etc.? Because if you would have just not rushed out the door, if you would have just stopped and taken a breath, well, you wouldn't have, had that split-second coincidental crashy-bashy with the other idiot that was, going the other direction. Or do you feel inconvenienced and frustrated, or like, everyone's out to get you, nothing ever goes your way, it's always something. If it's not one thing, it's another. Life isn't fair. Whatever you're feeling, well, that's what you've previously been feeling and previously thinking that has caused the car wreck. So there's no such thing as assertion, which means there's no such thing as a coincidence. And no such thing as a victim. You are not a victim. And so there's no such thing as a, quote, right way or a commandment or any other rule that anyone is supposed to follow to keep some sort of insecure God who needs therapy happy. And so there's no such thing as some sort of proper, moral, ethical way to live or think or believe or be. And today's generation tends to understand that more than the previous generation because they don't want to be limited by boxes and classifications and supposed rules of conduct, especially sexuality or sexual identity, and even career and what they can or cannot do with their money and gender roles, etc. Hence, especially in regards to money, hence the manifestation of cryptocurrency and alternative financial systems and the countless other ways to make money outside of the normal 9-to-5 work for the man until you die status quo. And we should be proud of every single soul who does anything outside of the norm because they are acting out whatever one wants, whatever one truly wants, which is to not be limited, to have complete freedom to believe and think however they want. The only hitch in this new desire to not be boxed in and limited by sexual identities is the belief that they can be victimized and stereotyped by ignorant people, and thusly that could limit them. But regardless of how you want to be identified, it matters not what other people think about you. All that matters is what you think about yourself. because you create your reality. Other people do not create your reality. You decide if you're going to be happy or not. Other people cannot decide if you're going to be happy or not. It's only you and your reaction to what other people think about you that makes you unhappy or happy. Or basically, the classic, what other people think about you is none of your business. Whether people think you're male, female, non-binary, androgynous, pansexual, gay, straight, bi, whatever, regardless of what you do with your genitals or any other part of your body or your mind, is none of anyone else's fucking business. Plain and simple. And what anyone thinks you should or shouldn't do with your body is none of your business. Did you get that? What anyone else thinks that you should or shouldn't do with your body or your mind or whatever is none of your business. So contrary to what people believe, because of their fears, diversity is an absolutely beautiful, amazing, divine thing. And this planet and reality is more than big enough to handle the immense diversity that exists, whereby not only are there countless cultures and countries and communities and religions with their similarly oriented, agreed upon beliefs, but it also handles the real diversity, which is regardless of whatever culture or religion, every person is born into and raised to believe, regardless. Every single soul on earth has its own unique beliefs, perceptions, and desires that is completely unlike the beliefs, perceptions, and desires of anyone else. Everyone is trying to be like everyone else to fit in and be cool and be successful, or to be moral, or to be ethical, or to be religious, or prove their worthiness, etc., or to be approved by others, or to be liked and loved by others, and to appear to have, worthiness, which is funny because no two people are alike, not even twins, not even the classic twinnies. And every soul comes to this earth and into their specific body with clear intentions of experience. And every general aspect of their life is pre-planned, so to speak. Sexual orientation is pre-planned with the coinciding body and culture and parents, etc., at least vibrationally. And of course, body type is all pre-planned, so to speak. And how masculine and feminine or androgynous or even hermaphroditic the body is. Because from the different body types and sexual orientations and cultural differences and spiritual and religious beliefs, etc., comes an infinite, delicious, fun amount of diversity. And I emphasize fun because diversity is fun and interesting and fascinating if you embrace it rather than fear it. People only fear diversity because their beliefs, their realities, their lives are built upon and based primarily upon false and ignorant beliefs, especially the belief in a judgmental God who has a big set of rules that you must follow to earn his favor. And if you don't earn his favor, well, you're in big-ass trouble, aren't you? And when you any false belief, any false reality that has no divine, real, truthful existence must be maintained by the masses. Otherwise, that reality just dies, just fades away. You can see that in action by the countless ludicrous false realities that people believed thousands of years ago and hundreds of years ago and decades ago and even a few years ago that seem quite primitive and archaic now. And where we are headed as an evolving species is, of course, a more inclusive perspective and a more open and allowing in nature, where we allow others to think and believe as they desire without any judgments from us and without a need to convince them to believe the same way that we do so that we can somehow be happy because we've created some sort of bastardized version of unity. And realizing that this is an unlimited, abundant planet and universe and completely inclusive universe, not a limited, decaying, exclusive one where some souls are favored while others are rejected. That's where we're headed as a civilization, where we understand that every soul is 100% honored and respected and loved unconditionally. And nothing that anyone does, no matter how horrendous, no matter how seemingly terrible that they do or think or believe, is judged, because we are all Source. And Source does not judge itself, ever. And there is nothing to judge anyway, because there is no such thing as a victim. And there's no such thing as a perpetrator, because everything is attracted. The so-called victim attracts the perpetrator. The so-called perpetrator attracts the so-called victim. There's only alignment with our true, unlimited, divine, immortal, infinitely loving, and prosperous nature, or there is misalignment with that. When we head down the proverbial dark path with limited, judgmental, and fearful thinking. Those are your choices. So what about these polarities of male and female? Even within male and female or more androgynous type bodies, we genetically and physiologically have male and female characteristics. The left side of our brain is more associated with what we tend to characterize as masculine, because it is more logical, analytical, objective, verbal, and directional sort of sides of our brains, which tends to control the right side of the body. And the right side of our brains are more associated with what determine to be the more feminine characteristics of creativity and intuitiveness and nurturing and receptive and tender feeling, etc. And males tend to have an increased blood flow to the masculine left side, whereas females tend to have an increased blood flow of the more feminine right sides of the brain. And I'm sure that more androgynous or non-binary, more balanced masculine and feminine beings would have more of an equal blood flow, but I'm just speculating about that. And of course, if you are expressing yourself regardless of your body, whether it's more masculine or feminine, of course, if you're expressing yourself in a more masculine way, well, of course, blood flow is going to go to that side of your brain, and if you're expressing yourself in more feminine ways, well, of course, blood flow is going to go to that way. So the point is, we're physically both male and female. And it's been shown scientifically that females have a greater amount of connections between their left and right hemispheres, whereas males tend to have less left and right brain hemisphere connections, and tend to have more connections within each individual hemisphere, and mainly the left hemisphere. And I will speculate again and theorize that more feminine-oriented males would have more connections in their feminine right sides, and reciprocally more masculine-oriented females would have more connections in the left or masculine sides. So that's a good one for Mythbusters. So to generalize, female brains are more optimized for combining analytical and intuitive thinking, whereas male brains are optimized for motor skills and analytical thinking, but less so in the intuitive fields. That is why men have an ability to shut their brains off, so to speak, whereas women have a tendency to have more difficulty shutting down their brains and stopping thinking and resting. But of course, these are pure generalizations, and of course, everyone is different depending on how more balanced you are in the masculine and feminine, regardless of what your genitals look like. And this is the, in regards to the women having a tendency to not being able to shut their brains down. Well, of course, that is especially associated when they are overworked and underappreciated and their oxytocin levels are low. This is the classic overworked and underappreciated mother who is cranky and exhausted and worried about everything because she is low in the healthy female hormone oxytocin. And so she just can't stop thinking about all the thousands of things that she's got to do. And the male counterpart to that is the overworked and underappreciated male who is exhausted and cranky because he is low in the healthy male hormone testosterone. Because he hasn't been getting enough appreciation. He's just, out there working for everyone else, not giving himself anything. And that's, of course, this classic situation where the man wants to go buy himself a boat, wants to go fishing, wants to do stuff for him. And, of course, we should do those things for ourselves. If you want a healthy hormone level as a male, well, you should be going and doing male stuff. You should be, accomplishing stuff, doing athletic stuff, watching the football game, because we get a testosterone boost when our team wins. And of course, same goes for women. You're out there nurturing everyone else, but you're not nurturing yourself. And of course, when you're not nurturing yourself, well, your oxytocin levels plummet. You're tired. You're cranky because you've been helping, nurturing everyone else, but not nurturing yourself. So if you want your oxytocin levels to be up, if you want to be healthy, physically and emotionally, well, then do girl stuff. Do what brings you joy. Go shopping. Go talk to your girlfriends, etc. Do fun girl stuff. From a sacred geometrical perspective, all of creation of male and female counterparts, the classic seed of life, flower of life, fruit of life, these sacred geometry, in fact, you can see the flower of life behind me right now, show the feminine spheres or cells, and how we begin our lives as humans with cells splitting and creating more cells. I mean, of course, this is what's behind me right now is the flower of life, and it's a two-dimensional version of the flower of life. But imagine that those are actually spheres. Those are not just circles, interlocking spheres, like when you see the classic science thing where they're showing the sperm and the egg come together, and then the egg starts splitting, and well, that's exactly what the flower of life is. And of course, you can see those small feminine spheres in microscopes, but contained within those feminine cells, like you can't see them, but there are also masculine geometries that, you can see them in a really good sacred geometry book, but I don't have them painted on there. But they're there. The female contains the masculine geometries, or the female spheres surround the masculine geometries. So essentially, everything and everyone is physically made. Oh, fuck! So essentially, everything and everyone is physically made up of masculine and feminine geometries, regardless of how we appear in our genitals. And every soul, regardless of their physical masculine or feminine characteristics, can lean more or less towards the masculine or feminine polarities, or swap back and forth when need be. You need to be more intuitive. And of course, that's the essence of being more aware, enlightened, whatever you want to call it. A more enlightened being calls upon their masculine qualities when they need them and their feminine qualities when they need them. They're more intuitive when they need to be intuitive. And when it's time to get up and go, well, then they are using more of their masculine qualities, regardless of whether you're male or female or anything in between. Hence how a typical male can be quite nurturing and intuitive and creative and caring and tender, etc., just like a woman, when he decides to be and when he has opened up to those feminine nurturing qualities. And in turn, a woman can be quite analytical, logical, and physical when she decides to be and has opened up to those more masculine qualities because they are needed in the moment. So regardless of how typically masculine or feminine you are, or how androgynous you are, or whether you look male but feel more female, or vice versa, or if you feel more balanced and androgynous in nature, regardless, as souls, we are all male and female, or neither male nor female, as souls, as source. We may have more momentum in a more male or female direction from more male or female lifetimes, but regardless, we're all male and female, or basically neither, because none of us can be limited as souls in any way, and we are all part of every aspect of creation, which includes all of the masculine parts as well as the feminine parts and everything in between. We are essentially everything and everyone. And as soon as people realize that, they will much sooner embrace the delicious, fun, adventurous diversity of gender and sexuality that has absolutely nothing to do with anything important or dramatic or spiritual, other than providing great diversity, which creates great contrast, which inspires infinitely diverse desires and experiences and growth and expansion and fun. Now, your goal as an infinitely expanding master of divine creation is to become very androgynous in nature. That does not mean you necessarily become more masculine or feminine physically, because you have distinct intentions and biases and desires for specific physical attributes, which is why you have the body that you are in. You chose this body and its physical characteristics, its gender-specific characteristics, or its more androgynous characteristics, and its sexual orientations, etc. So I'm not talking physically in regards to androgyny. I'm talking mentally, emotionally, and spiritually more androgynous, with the ability to be analytical or as intuitive as you need to be in the moment, or to be as nurturing and sensitive as you need to be in the moment, or as classically physical and athletic as you need to be or want to be in that moment. Hence why women's sport is now really coming into its power. And the boys are enjoying being girls. Not necessarily to prove anything, but just because it's fun. We each have the capacity to be as masculine or feminine or anything in between as we want to be or as is needed in the moment. We each have the capacity and potential to be super analytical brainiacs and logical super Spocks, or to be psychic and intuitive and caring and nurturing, etc. Or to be athletic, or to be girly, or to be blokey, or to be motherly, or to be spiritual, etc. The point is, no one is limited in any way to be, do, or have anything that they desire, regardless of their physical body and genitals or sexual orientations. Your mantra in life should be no limits. I am unlimited. Or to word it, in a very positive sort of mantra way, which is how you truly are. You are infinite. I am infinite. I am unlimited. And nothing and no one can limit me in any way. So, nothing and no one can limit you in any way except your own thoughts about yourself, or your thoughts and concerns about what other people may think about you, which is 100% out of your control and 100% none of your business. It's the classic, what other people think about you is none of your business, especially because other people's perceptions and beliefs about you have nothing to do with you and do not affect you in any way unless you believe they do, because there is no such thing as assertion, there's only attraction. So it's never other people's perceptions of you that can limit you or do limit you in any way whatsoever. It's only your perceptions of yourself that limit you, and your belief in the importance of what other people think about you and how you decide you're going to feel about that limits you. So stop limiting yourself with your limited thoughts and beliefs about yourself, and stop arguing for your supposed limitations that are not real at all, and have some freaking fun already, which is why you came to planet Earth. Because the only reason you are here on Earth is for the joy and fun of it, because the purpose of life is joy, and the basis of life is freedom and infinite diversity. And the result of all that is infinite expansion. And you're free to create absolutely anything you desire. No limits whatsoever. You are completely 100% immortal, infinite, and unlimited. You are 100% infinite and unlimited in nature. So your mantra is I am infinite. I am infinity. I am unlimited. So I hope you enjoyed my vodcast. Everyone is androgynous, or infinite diversity inspires infinite expansion. And you really embrace that and really start to enjoy the infinite diversity on planet Earth, and the infinite ways that people perceive reality and believe reality to be. And especially, I hope that it helps you let go of your need, your addictions, that other people somehow believe the same way as you do, so that you can have some sort of bastardized version of unity, which you don't need, because you don't need to agree with anybody in physical reality. You don't have to believe any certain way as anyone. Everyone's under the control of their own spirit. Everyone's being guided by their own spirit, by their own soul, by their own source. So they don't need you to guide them. They've got their own guidance system. Everyone does. So let go of your need and your desires and your addictions to getting other people to believe the same way you do so you can somehow feel better. And just feel good regardless. Enjoy, just delight in the absolute infinite diversity of life and experience and belief and so forth. And really just enjoy that. So, if you did enjoy this vodcast, share with your friends, bless them with these amazing teachings. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and my podcast channel, The Master Keys of Creation. Come visit me at ZaKaiRan.com for tons more self-empowering goodies to help you become a conscious and deliberate creator of reality to literally make all your dreams come true. My name is ZaKaiRan, and I'm here to help you remember that you are an unlimited master of divine creation, and you have the absolute power and freedom to create the love and the joy and the well-being and abundance that you desire. Thanks again for watching this video or listening to this podcast, and I wish you immense joy and abundance on your magnificent journey of divine creation. And remember to make life a holiday. Woohoo!